you expected this. You expected Liverpool to get the job done. Ramsdale was fantastic in the first half, kept him at bay. It was a good performance, steady, needed. From Sheffield United's perspective, it's hard to see where they go. I think they're already planning for the Championship for next year. But Liverpool, yeah, solid performance rather than spectacular.
OK, so we did get goals in. Good night for Curtis Jones, good night for Liverpool. Fascinating, Michael, to hear Jurgen Klopp talk about the way they've responded to the criticism and the way Liverpool play there.
I love the way he answered that question, yeah. And that when Liverpool are struggling, everyone says, you know, Liverpool, what plan B? Well, they haven't really. They always play the same way. You know, they might tweak it. It might be 2 sitters and 1 in front in the midfield or 1 and 2. But really, they play 3 up front every time, same players. They play 4 at the back they play the same way, and they've got the same way of imposing themselves on the game. And I've never really seen them sit back. I mean, the game that we watched earlier with Manchester United and Chelsea, they've got a couple of different ways to play. They can sit back and play in the counter, whereas Liverpool, they've built their success on high pressing, high energy, you know, taking the game to their opponents. So they can't really fall back on anything, apart from keep aiming for the stars. And they've been falling short lately, but today they got, you know, somewhere near back to their best. He was talking about Curtis Jones there. There's tribute there from the 20-year-old. Let's clear it up then. Ball didn't go out of play? No, we didn't. We've just stopped it on the line. We've got a great camera angle as well. It's a decent enough move by Liverpool. You know, we all know how much their fullbacks are involved in the play. Trent down on the right-hand side here beats his man and he just keeps it in play. And I love that finish. You know, if you've not got a cool head on your shoulders, you just smack that as hard as you can. But here we see the exact moment when he's played the ball, and you can quite clearly see that it's OK. Lovely finish.
Yeah, lovely finish. I mean, it was coming, weren't it? It was like Liverpool were probing, looking about the bodies they've got forward. A little bit of a ricochet here. Trent, we all know this is where he's at his best. You know, Sheffield United just switched off. Just watch this second clip in a moment when Trent gets to cross him and they get the half clearance. They're just not engaged, the Sheffield United defenders here. All arms up, ball watching, not alive. And that sums up their season, really. You know, they look like a team waiting for relegation, the inevitability of it. As it drops, it's a lovely finish by, because that ain't easy, that. It's bobbling to him, and he keeps his composure and he strikes it lovely into the bottom corner there.
And the way Liverpool's season's gone, important for other players in other areas of the pitch to find the back of the net ball.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And I've always liked this lad. I think he's a really good footballer. I think he's the one that really suffered from Thiago coming back into the team in January. I saw a lot of him this summer. Actually did a Wolves game and he was brilliant. He does need to add more goals to his game, but you can see he's definitely going to be capable of doing that. And you know, if he can stay in the team, keep fit, especially, this lad will score a lot of goals and make a lot of goals.
That was 1-0, Joe. How big a chance did Sheffield United and McBurney have to level it up, though?
Yeah, again, look, here we go. Look, they're throwing it forward. They needed to do this. They needed to make it a hustle-bustle game. You know, and this is one of the only times they got into Liverpool's final third, had decent possession. As soon as it comes here, this lad, Norwood, just lovely cross, waited in behind. He's a lovely pass for the ball, and I feel like they've missed him when he's not been in the team. But here, they was always going to do this, set back, dropped into an area, and McBurney just gets it off target. I mean, there wasn't a lot of chances for Sheffield United, and this was one of their glimpses. But, again, I just look at them, and they look like a team. We're only just going into March, and it's like they can't wait for the season to come ahead. The polar opposite of what we saw last year, where they was energy, endeavour, and they looked like they really enjoyed playing with each other. I don't know what's gone wrong for them this year.
So Liverpool needed the second goal. They got it, and they needed some luck.
They did, yeah. I don't think this ball was going in from Firmino. I think it was just being pulled wide, and it just took a little deflection off Bryant, sent it into the back of the net. And when you're struggling in front of goal, which Firmino has been, lovely little quick feet, he jinks into a lovely position and takes a big deflection there. I almost think, in terms of the chance that we showed in the first half, when he could have waited for the goalkeeper to go down, well, he used a deflection to wait for the goalkeeper to go down this time. And he just goes down a bit too early, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of defenders around him as well. They're all a little bit passive, the Sheffield United players. I know it's difficult to tackle inside the box, and Firmino gets his rewards because, as I said at half-time, he's been the one who's getting better than most of the chances, but he's been the most erratic as well. but unfortunately he's not going to get the goal.
He isn't. Strikers don't always get them, you see.
No, I would have given it him as well.
And then,
During that, like, you were playing well enough to go on and win it.
I'm not sure if you ever play well enough, to be honest, especially when you don't score. And you can imagine our situation. It's not that we sit in the dressing room and think, all good. We will score, but the plan was to keep going, do the same stuff again. And because Sheffield, in the moments when we played exactly how we wanted to play, they couldn't deal with us. Then we arrived pretty much alone in front of the goalie, but Ramsdale played an incredible game, had a few outstanding saves, Adrian as well, a very early one. And when you know that Sheffield United lost a lot of games in that year, of course, but all with the smallest margin you can get, and it's clear that these games stay exciting until the end. And we first half we should have scored 3 times, I think. Then we scored 2 goals, and I think Robbo could have had a hat-trick tonight, pretty much. So that just shows how we created was really good. And the finishing was then in the end good enough for today, but we know we can improve that still.
Were there improvements on what you've seen in the past few weeks?
I told you before this game, it's like I get it 100% that people. That's normal and right that we get criticized, but if it's just about the performance, that makes it so tricky. It makes it so tricky that we cannot fight like other teams, just standing deep, let them come, and then try to set a counter attack. That's not how we can get back on track. We have to keep being dominant, and we have to deal with the situation, with disappointments in the game, with frustration in the game, that you miss a chance in the first half. Where in other games we maybe would have reacted differently, but tonight we just stayed on track, kept playing, and scored in the right moment. That always helps.
What did you make of Curtis Jones' influence tonight? He scored one, had a hand in the second goal, and he does feel like a player that when he's in that midfield, he does add to your creativity and your goal threat. Yeah.
Top player, no doubt about that. That's why he was playing. So, and tonight, yes, it was very important. We had a lot of talks about it. He has to be more being involved in goal-scoring situations as well. That's clear. And there he has, like everywhere, space for improvement. So tonight he was involved. That's good.
Second Premier League goal, first this season. Did it come at the opportune moment, just before that could get nervy for you?
Yeah, I think it's been a difficult time, for myself and the rest of the team, but I'm happy that I got on the score sheet, and I'd like to take this time to say that this goal is for Ali's dad, actually. So may rest in peace, and if Ali sees this is for you, bro.
Well said, mate. Well said. How tough's it been for the club, around the club?
Well, he's a strong lad. It's a big part of the team, of course. So he's not here today, but we miss him for sure. And I'd like to take this time, as I said, to dedicate my goal to him and his dad and the rest of his family.
For you personally, do you feel a bit more responsibility to get the goals? Like, it's 0-0 at half-time. You're a first-team player now, not a kid coming in. So it can't just be down to Mo Salah. It can't just be down to Sadio Mane.
Yeah, of course. I've always said, that I'm a player that likes to assist, score goals. So I think the time's right now.
A little anxious moment when it was checked. Like Trent just saved you, hooked it back in time.
A little bit, yeah. But all in all, it was a good team performance. I'm happy that we came away with the 3 points, and we go again.
How important is it that it's a turning point? During the bad run, there have been good performances. You look at Tottenham, West Ham, but this time, how important is it that you back it up?
As you said then, I've had good games, but we haven't scored as many goals we'd like. But and today was a good example of putting it all together. It was a good performance, and I'm happy that I'm scored, and I'm happy for Bobby and the rest of the team.
Well done. Well played tonight.
Thank you.
So in the final game of the day, it started with a flurry of them on this Sunday. That after those games yesterday, those wins for City, West Brom, Villa, and the draw at St James's Park. There was another point and clean sheet for Fulham, an away win for Arsenal at Leicester, 4 goals for Spurs, including 2 for Gareth Bale at home to Burnley, who started that game. No goals at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Manchester United, and those two for Liverpool get them back to winning ways. One more game remaining in the match week, the Monday Night Football on Merseyside at Goodison Park for Everton, who are chasing as well, as we'll show you in a moment, at home to Southampton. So Manchester City's lead, 12 points after that 1 point for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team. United 1 clear of Leicester, who are 4 ahead of West Ham, who still occupy that final Champions League place. Just a point ahead of Chelsea, and now only 2 ahead of Liverpool. But look at Everton. They have 2 games in hand. If they were to win both of those, they would leapfrog Liverpool, Chelsea and West Ham, and they themselves would be in 4th place. Fulham's point takes them to 23, 3 from safety, from Newcastle and Brighton locked on 26 points, and the gap for Burnley is now 5.